Centro Nacional de Estadísticas de Educación, en otoño de 2018, 5 millones de estudiantes en los Estados Unidos eran aprendices del inglés como su segundo idioma. Es decir, 10.2% de la población estudiantil en el país formaban parte de este grupo. If you're not familiar with Spanish, you're probably confused by what I just said. I was stating that according to the National Center for Education Statistics, as of fall 2018, 5 million students in the United States were English language learners. In other words, 10.2% of the student population formed part of this group. 5 million students feel the way you just felt as I was stating that statistic in another language. Good morning. We're Melanie Chakal,
Veronica Tessin,
Jose Mendez,
and Irina Clough. Now, with the amount of students with English as a second language, there have been discussions on how to better programs for students. This brought us to the research question. In the United States, to what extent has access to music education positively impacted ESL elementary students over the last 25 years? And through our research, we found that music education has positively impacted ESL elementary students as it has aided in the process of language acquisition, improved memory, academic performance, and social skills.
To begin with, music education for ESL elementary students aids in language acquisition as it improves their linguistic competence. A study conducted by Dr. Freire showed how music training impacts the children's verbal ability. As this graph shows, the studies found on how music training impacts their verbal ability in other ways of vocabulary. We can see that as the music training increases, their verbal ability increases as well. Considering that music education improves students' education and vocabulary, the same could apply for ELL elementary students. As Dale Cave stated, sometimes instrumental music contains more emotions than songs with lyrics, so they can even be used to simulate thinking or even generate ideas for essay or other language tasks. In other words, we can say that by adding music education to the ESL curriculum proved to be beneficial for the students, which also will help them become more familiar with the English language.
as Veronica stated, music helps with learning the language, but it also improves memory. An initiative called the Harmony Project, led by Nina Kraus in Los Angeles, offered music training to children for 2 years or more. The graph behind me shows how the time spent in music training affects their neural sound processing. The green circles represent waitlisted students who received music appreciation classes, and the blue triangles represent those in the Harmony Project. We can see a significant increase in their neural sound processing, especially for those in the Harmony Project. Their increased ability to process sound means that they can remember the auditory information they learn, therefore improving their memory. This greatly benefits ESL elementary students because it helps them remember more aspects of the language as they continue through the program.
In addition, music education also improves the students' academic performance. After running the Harmony Project for 10 years, Nina Cross and her co-researchers found that the Harmony Project grew in size in popularity, partly because its students excelled in not only music, but also many seemingly unrelated areas. For example, they graduated at the top of their classes, earned college scholarships, and went on to successful careers. Seeing the success the implementation of music education was on the academic performance of students in the program, providing music education for ESL elementary students would also enhance their success in school. Not only that, but the graph shown here by Dr. Mary Forjard studies the impact of music education on students' test scores on the Ravens Standard Test, which is an exam that measures students' nonverbal reasoning. Here we can see that as the duration for music training increases, their test scores also increase, with the exception of the outlier. This shows that incorporating music education into the ESL curriculum would also benefit students when they take exams such as the Ravens test, which are a huge part of schools' curriculums.
Aside from improving academic performance, like Melanie mentioned, Music education has also had a positive impact on ESL elementary students' social skills. An article by Dwayne Ames states that music, particularly songs, is an encoding of cultural values and ideology, which needs to be viewed critically if foreign music is used in teaching a second language. This shows how music education is providing an additional benefit to students, essentially offering them a plethora of opportunities to learn about other cultures. Additionally, students are not only limited to certain subjects and topics as music education allows for personal growth. Students may learn about their roots and about other aspects of culture that they may not have been aware of. Music education can be used to provide different aspects of culture and values and ideology and use them in their daily lives. Despite the positive impact that music education has on ESL elementary students, with the lack of funding for music programs in schools, music educators across the United States struggle to budget their programs through external monetary support like grants.
Considering the problem Irina just pointed out, we as a team identified 3 possible solutions to increase accessibility for music education. One possible solution would be to increase funding for music education in schools through a proportion to the district's budget in order to allow the increase of resources. Another option would be to raise awareness about the importance of music education in school through brochures or even by providing talks of its impact on students. Thirdly, an app could be developed to provide an inexpensive alternative for music education.
While thinking of the solutions Veronica discussed, we found some limiting factors though. For example, increasing funds for music education would mean cutting other school programs, especially in schools with low budgets. Raising awareness is difficult because it's hard to gain an audience's attention to then take action. Thirdly, creating an app would not guarantee access to every student, therefore giving them information on music education. When comparing the 3, we found that increasing funds for music education is the most reliable one. Because, again, raising awareness is difficult, so getting people to take action, even more difficult. Creating an app, extremely difficult. People are not it's gonna be too risky to get into the hands of students. When comparing the 3, we realized that student funds would require support from school leaders. Therefore, ESL elementary students would require and get the help they need in order to advance, therefore making it the most viable option. Thank you. What questions do you have?
All right, no particular order. I've already written who's getting what questions. So Veronica, we're gonna start with you. Describe an argument for one of your peers' individual reports that makes you think differently about your team's solution.
When thinking about an argument of my peers, I think about Melanie's perspective, that is language acquisition, which with her argument about how music training helps students improve their verbal ability, it connects to what I said of my perspective, that it was social skills in my paper, because by combining both two, because without language acquisition, you cannot have social skills because it connects to each other.
Okay. Irina, let's go to you. What is an example of a compelling argument from one of your peers' individual reports that you decided to exclude from your team presentation, and then why did you do so?
We decided to exclude social skills because social skills, although it's important, academic performance and language acquisition, we found that they were most important to our line of reasoning.
All right, thank you. Melanie, reflecting on your colleagues' works, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem that your group identified?
When looking at my peers' perspectives, I also read Jose's, obviously, and I found that with the topic of academic performance, it was really a huge problem that music education was not as accessible to specifically ESL elementary students as it is now, because knowing that academic performance is so important especially to them in their lives, maybe increasing music education will also help their academic performance.
All right. And Jose, how did your group decide to include Veronica's perspective into your overall presentation?
When we were comparing all of our IRRs, we realized how mine, Irina's, and Melanie's all had to do with school. So we included Veronica's to show how it doesn't only help in academics, but it also helps outside of school and in personal life as well.
You're done.